Hello everyone, Atreyu Crochet is here, and I thought it would be a good idea to actually go through a pattern, a written out pattern for you. After all, this is a crochet channel for beginners, and it's going to be important that you learn how to, when you come across a pattern, be able to read it and put it into action with your yarn and crochet hook, right? So I said, let's find a free pattern and let's make that so that they can see, okay, when it says slip stitch, this is the action that I take with my hook and yarn. So I found this awesome pattern. It's this men's crochet hat on the JJCrochet page. And yeah, we're going to be making that hat with that very cool ribbing. It almost looks like it was knitted, right? But nope, it was indeed crocheted, and you're going to learn how to do that. So the pattern calls for a size H USA hook, and they say about 100 yards of a worsted weight yarn. This is a medium 4, and it's called stripes, right? Because it has different colors. It's what I call variegated yarn. And this is like 264 yards, so I have more than enough with just this one skein. And something that I want to introduce to you guys in this video is gauge. You might see gauge somewhere. Okay, so looking at this pattern, it says the gauge is first 3 rows in pattern equals 4 inches in diameter. To ensure a perfect fit, take time to check your gauge and adjust hook size if necessary. So we're going to crochet out 3 rows, and then we're going to use a tape measure to check it to make sure those first 3 rows equate to 4 inches. If not, for example, say the first 3 rows are smaller than 4 inches, then maybe you could use a bigger crochet hook, or maybe you could loosen up your tension if you're just crocheting really tightly. But it's easier to just change the crochet hook size because your tension is kind of your tension, and you're almost doing it, you know, like on a subconscious level. So yeah, I'll be checking my own gauge. I'll be checking the gauge after the first 3 rows. I'll show you how to do all of that. And yeah, I'm excited because not only am I going to teach you how to crochet and how to read a pattern, but you're going to actually have your own hat, you know, once we're done. All right, enough rambling. So let me get to crocheting. Okay, so I noticed that this skein of yarn, it doesn't have the tail hanging out on either end. So, and a lot of skeins they usually do, so you don't have to look for it. I like to just kind of stick my finger in there, feel around for it to see if I feel it. Usually it's not too far buried in there, okay? And I'm just going to check both sides. So if you happen to have a skein of yarn where you don't see a tail, then this is what you do. Alright, so they really have it well hidden. I'm not finding it after looking for it for a minute. I don't want to waste time trying to find it. So I'm just going to find the tail that's on the outside, the other end basically, which is here. This one is usually much more easily able to be found. The reason I like to use the inside one is because as I give myself slack, it doesn't roll like that, right? It remains stationary, but it's okay. Alright, so let's get to this pattern. Alright, so it says chain 3, join with slip stitch to form ring. So if it says chain 3, even though it doesn't explicitly say it, you're going to have to start with a slip knot. And I'm using, once again, a size H. Alright, now chain 3, it says. So 1, 2, 3. It says join with a slip stitch to form ring. So I haven't really shown you a slip stitch, but I'm about to show you now. So a slip stitch is you just go into the chain, kind of like you're about to do a single crochet, right? And you yarn over and pull through both. Okay? That is a slip stitch. And now as you can see, we have a little ring. Okay, it's only 3 chains, so the ring is kind of really small. It's hard to see the hole in the center, but there's a mini ring there. Now it says round 1, chain 2. Counts as first DC. Remember, DC stands for double crochet. So chain 2, 1, 2, and then it says that counts as the first double crochet now and throughout. So we're going to be chaining 2, I guess, many times, several times throughout this pattern, and each time we chain 2, it will count as a double crochet. 12 more DC into ring for a total of 13 stitches. So this counts as the first double crochet, and it says 12 more. So now we have to put double crochets into this ring, and we have to put 12 of them. By the time we're done with this round, we should have a total of 13 stitches. So let's make our first double crochet, 1, and let's go into the ring there. Okay, so I just went through the center, the hole there. Okay, yarn over, pull through the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go back into the center again, yarn over, pull through to the front, try not to split any yarns, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Alright, this is the 3rd double crochet that I'm making now, and you're just going to count. Okay, so you made 3, and then this first chain 2 is also 1, so we can say we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to count. 5, 6, and we're going to keep doing that until we get all the way to 13. Okay, so we have 6 double crochets right now. Let's make sure that tail stays in the back. So like that. Keep it behind the hook, and then continue on. 7, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. So even though I've been counting, I always go back and count each stitch just to make sure I have the correct number of stitches. When a pattern shows you how many total stitches you should have for a round or row, you want to always make sure you have that number, okay? That's very important. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then the chain 2 is 13. So I have the correct number of stitches for the row. Alright, now it says join to top of chain 2 with a slip stitch. The SL stands for slip and ST obviously for stitch. So top of chain 2, well, it just means here, remember we chained 2 at the beginning of that row? That's the bottom chain of the chain 2, that's the top chain of the chain 2. So just like we slip stitched at the very beginning to form the ring, we're going to do it again. So remember, you just go into the chain stitch like that, just like a single crochet, yarn over and pull that through all the way until you have 1 loop on your crochet hook. Alright, so we've completed 1 round. Yay! Alright, let's move on to round 2. It says 2 double crochet into each stitch around 26 stitches. So you notice if you compare the total number of stitches in round 2 to the total number of stitches in round 1, it's exactly double, right? 26 divided by 13 is 2. So that means we're going to be putting 2 double crochet stitches into every single stitch in that row, in the round 1 row. Now I notice that this pattern doesn't say chain 2, but it should, okay? This is something that you would know, and you will know as you gain more experience. So right now I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and that chain 2 is over that chain 2, right? But remember, this also counts as a double crochet. That chain 2 right there counts as a double crochet. That's how we got 13. This chain 2 counts as a double crochet. But remember, this round 2 instruction, it says 2 DC into each stitch. So since this chain 2 down here is the double crochet and we only have one double crochet in it right now, we have to add one more double crochet. So yarn over, and then we're just going to go right into the top of that chain 2 and put a double crochet. Okay. Now we have to put 2 double crochet into every double crochet. So once again, we're just going into the tops of the stitches. So that's for the chain 2. Technically, this double crochet right here, that's the next one. So yarn over, and we're going to find the top. That's the top right there. Like that. Remember, it's like the little mini heart. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go back into that exact same hole, because we're putting 2 double crochet into every stitch. Like that. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Okay. Give myself slack. See, this is why I hate using the tail on the outside, but we make do with what we have, right? Alright, so I'm just going to continue doing that. Find the next double crochet. So those 2 are in that one. I have to go into that one. So I do it like that. Okay, so you're going to continue putting 2 double crochet stitches in every single double crochet in the previous row. I will meet you once I get to the end of this row. Alright, so I'm nearing the end. I thought I would check back in and do these last 2 stitches, or technically last 4 stitches, since I'm putting 2 double crochet in every stitch. Do that on camera. 1, and back into the same hole. 2. Okay. So you will see when looking at the bottom, that's the last double crochet of the row before, and then there's the chain 2. So that's how I know I'm at the end. And then I see this chain 2 here as well. Okay. So now what I need to do, whenever you're doing rows like this and it starts with like a chain 2 or chain 1, sometimes chain 3, maybe if you're doing treble crochets, you know you're going to have to join it with the slip stitch. And once again, just like before, this is a chain 2. You want to slip stitch into the top chain of the chain grouping. So here, there's one chain, there's a second chain. You insert your hook, you yarn over, and you just pull it through until there's one loop left on the crochet hook. And what are you going to do now before we go on to round 3? That's right, you're going to count your stitches. Remember, you have to have the appropriate number of stitches. It's very important, so you might as well get into the habit of double checking now. So I'll count the first chain 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. How do I know this is the last one? Because that's where the loop is. Okay. So it said I should have 26 stitches, and I do. So I am still doing well following this pattern. Let's move on to the next round. Okay, so the pattern says round 3, asterisk. Notice the asterisk, that's very important. When you see one asterisk, you know that there's probably going to be another asterisk to come. And what's in between the 2 asterisks, you're going to have to repeat, okay? So we're going to do the chain 2 that is not explicitly put in the pattern, okay? So we chain 2, that's just how you do it, okay? And now asterisk, double crochet into next stitch. So remember, this first chain 2 counts as a double crochet. They told us that at the beginning of the pattern. So we're going to put another double crochet into that same chain, the chain 2 below it, okay? And 1 double crochet into next stitch. So this is the chain 2, this is the next stitch. So we put 1 double crochet into that. Okay. And then it says asterisk. Repeat around. So we're going to alternate 2 double crochet into 1 stitch, then the next stitch 1 double crochet, and we're going to keep doing that all the way around. At the end, we should have a total of 38 stitches. So since we just put 1 double crochet, we know in the next stitch goes 2 double crochet. So 2, 1, 2. And as I'm calling them out, I'm basically telling myself how many double crochets to put into that stitch. So if I'm talking to someone, 1, or I'm watching television, 2, and I can say it out loud or I can say it in my head. I'm basically telling myself, I'm keeping the pattern in my head. I'm keeping the pattern fresh in my head. So you see I did 2 here, 1, 2 in that stitch, 1 in that one, 2 in that one, 1 in that one, 2 in that one, 1. And I'll keep doing that, 2. 1. Now if I'm going too fast, you can always slow down the video by altering the speed settings. 2. 1. And look, you guys, the color is about to change. It's changing before our very eyes. 2. I'm not gonna lie, I held on here. I kept doing this so you guys could see the color change. 1. Alright, so now that the color has changed, I will meet you at the end of this row. Alright, I have two more double crochets to work into. This I put 1 double crochet in, so I know the next one I put 2 double crochets into it. Adjust that a bit. Okay. It's always so awkward to crochet on film because I'm positioned so awkwardly so that you guys can get the shot. So you can, see what I'm doing. And then 1. And I still don't always get it. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row. I'm going to slip stitch and then chain 2 to start row 4. But something that I want to note, now I worked this round several times and I am getting 39 stitches. I'm always anal about making sure I have the proper number of stitches. Regardless of how I work it, I always end up with 39 stitches. So I went to the website and I checked the comment section. A lot of people are also having issues with the number of stitches. So I'm not sure what's going on, but following the pattern very closely, I end up with 1 more stitch than I should. So I'm just gonna assume that maybe they miscounted and didn't, write the number of stitches. The thing to note is that the pattern was 2, 1, 2, 1. And that's how you should end the row. 2, 1, which it does. So I'm gonna slip stitch, yarn over, pull it through both loops until there's 1 loop on the crochet hook. Okay? Now remember, it told us that our gauge should be 4 inches for the first 3 rows. So that's 3 rows. Let's see what the gauge is for this. Okay, so I'm a little bit over 3.5. I'm kind of, maybe like 3.75-ish. So I'm gonna just continue on with the pattern. It's not a big deal. I guess my tension is a bit tight. But this is what you want to do. You want to measure it out and check your gauge to see, if you need to alter anything. So if I did care about this not fitting someone in particular, then I would take all that down and maybe use a larger crochet hook because my stitches would be a little bit bigger. Or I could probably try to loosen my tension, but I think it's just easier, as I said before, to use a larger crochet hook. Okay, so this is where I'm going to end this video, just in case some of you have a circle that is not 4 inches in diameter. You can pull it apart, use a larger crochet hook. This is letter H, so maybe you can try an I or J. I would probably try an I if you're almost at 4. See if that makes a difference. And in the next video, we will continue on with this pattern.